My name is Savanah Joeckel, and I directed for Mom for the 48-Hour Film Festival. Just being a director is scary. Before that, I'd only ever acted, and I realized that I think directing is actually more nerve-wracking for me than acting. It's just a lot of pressure on your shoulders. We were assigned for our genre slapstick comedy, which instantly I felt good because we had, I mean, it was destiny. We had Roberto, and I already wanted Mabel to be in mine because she was in town during the time, and I just had to ask her because she's like my idol. I love her. The slapstick comedy just fit really well with both of them because I wanted it to be this strange world, and the only thing that appears normal is like sort of Mabel until she just completely loses it. A lot of that too was just allowing the actors to like go crazy and do what they want because they're like, I mean, honestly, slapstick comedy is really performance. It's like, I feel like that is your role though as a director, is let other people do the magic, just allow it to happen, and it will, and it did for this, and watching it was so fascinating. We were just, looking at commercials for Fanta and like, because it's so bright and colorful, and it does fit the slapstick comedy world too, which is great. They just kind of go hand in hand. And then like there's an actual ad for who wants to be the next Fanta girl, and we're like, wow, like what if we do something about Mabel wanting to be the next Fanta girl, and we'll just do an audition. So it kind of sparked from that. I remember watching them and just being absolutely amazed, and like it actually made me more nervous to act after watching them because I'm like, oh my God, they're so good. Like even though I have more acting experience than anything else, I'm like, oh my God, like they're so good. We cut out a lot of really great funny moments that I think would have added on to the slapstick aspect of it. I was just so scared because I thought if we kept cutting, it would just take away from the story, and eventually, it would just be pieces. It wouldn't be like one continuous line. Honestly, I was so amazed by what they did in the editing room and how they cut it down but it still made sense. It was still it still had a beginning, middle, and end. Then that was a big concern for me too.
Mind if I have this?
By all means.
I'm big on reactions, and some of the reactions that Mabel was giving, and then like Roberto, just when he starts like shaking violently as he's warming up, and then cutting to Mabel's reaction. I mean, it all just like flows so well. Another big thing I learned is I love just watching the actors like incorporate their own ideas, and like a lot of it was improv. Like what Steve said, that is in the script, but there are certain parts that just was completely spontaneous. Like when Mabel, she comes up and grabs the Fanta from the table that the judges, like it was one of the judges' Fantas. Like that was all her idea. And I love that. Like just give the actors space. Like let them do whatever the hell they want, and you will see magic happen. That's where it generates, its core value, and it's in what the actors do and how like animated they are. And luckily, like Roberto and Mabel just decided to tackle Roberto, and it just like worked out that way. Like we had so much freaking fun. Yeah. Those are the moments that you remember like the most on set. Try not to get wrapped up in the really little details or you'll lose sight, because I know I did at one point, and that's why Will had to take me outside and read the script to me. Because at that point I once again grasped like the theme, like the idea of the story, like this is what we're communicating. I just got really lucky with such an amazing cast and crew, and everyone was so willing to work and commit to it, and I think that's why like the improv part was easy for me, because in reality, like I'm sure it's probably really hard, but I just got so lucky, and everybody brought it, and it's just, I think it's trust too. Like trust is really important, and I put my faith into the actors because I know what it's like, and it is so vulnerable just even going up in front of the camera. When I said that's a wrap, and when everyone started clapping, like even now, I just get emotional. It was probably one of the most life-changing moments, and I can't even really explain why, because it's like, oh, it's just a 48, It was scary. It was so scary. It was something completely out of my comfort zone. And like just the feeling that I did it, like I overcame my fear, and And also it was like the people too. Just I remember being in that room and looking around and everyone was clapping and like the look on everyone's faces, you know, like with such joy and relief and also just the experience we all had together. Like it was just so magical.